The Fox 9 Morning News starts now.
Good morning. Welcome to the Fox 9 Morning News. I'm Iris Perez. He is Randy, but tonight he's facing some very adult charges. That teenager facing second-degree murder after Hennepin County Attorney Mike Freeman says he killed the man who was simply trying to protect his own son. Those who live here and those who grew up in this neighborhood say this is the kind of search that should have happened when Amy went missing. Meanwhile, if found guilty, Odegaard could face second-degree assault and gun possession charges. Live in Minneapolis, I'm Iris Perez, Fox 9 News. Now, before we get into today's top stories, we want to start right away with all the good news Cody Matz is bringing us about the weather. You can expect to continue to see throughout the rest of this holiday weekend. We're so excited.
Getting some good weather.
Now, they may have mysteriously disappeared, but this weekend, a group of Minnesotans are making sure missing children are not forgotten. So in honor of National Missing Children's Day, today, there's one simple thing you can do to keep their memories alive.
Honk your horn for missing persons.
Appropriately so, the group rallied yesterday to remember the missing. Now, this is timely considering the missing persons cases of St. Joseph's Jacob Wetterling and Maple Grove's Amy Paniak have made headlines this week after 25 years. Now, investigators are following new potential leads in both cases, but there remain many other unsolved cases. Investigators in California are trying to piece together what led to the mass murder of 6 people near the University of California, Santa Barbara. The gunman is identified as Elliot Roger. His rampage started at his own home where he stabbed and killed 3 men. He then headed to campus, shooting 3 women, wounding 13 others, and then killing himself. And beer drinkers, if you're looking for another reason to celebrate, here's one for the end of your weekend. Brewery and tap rooms can now be open on Sundays. Governor Dayton signed the beer growler bill allowing for Sunday sales. Establishments still need to get permits, but today at least one will be open. That's Steel Toe Brewing in St. Louis Park. Now, the business didn't waste any time getting the first permit and will be open from noon to 6 today. And in even lighter news, you can take a trip back in time today at the Minnesota History Center. A new exhibit captures the craziness and joy of being a kid. So our own big kid, Todd Walker, checks it out. Welcome back to the Fox 9 Morning News. Time now is 7:24. Well, it's set to be a gorgeous weekend, Cody, as you mentioned earlier in the newscast. So if you're looking to get out and about, here's some fun things you can definitely check out this weekend.
Let's start with the city of Burnsville.
And if barbecue isn't reason enough to run, how about beer? That's what you'll get at the 6th annual Summer Beer Dabbler. It's a 2-mile jog from Gabe's by the Park in St. Paul.
The key word there is jog, by the way.
right, jog. Mild, brisk jog.
Yeah.
You'll find more than 80 varieties of brew. Mayor Coleman will give the opening speech and take a sip from the ceremonial first pitcher. That starts at 5. Tickets are $50 at the gate.
Sounds delicious.
Yes, lots of fun this weekend going on out there. Yep, and we're back with this morning's news and headlines after the break. Good morning, Leah. That's right. And you know what? The Sauk Rapids police say it was actually a small single-engine private plane that crashed into this home on the 700 block of Garden Place in Sauk Rapids. Right now, the St. Cloud Police and Fire Mobile Command Center is on the scene along with Sauk Rapids police, who report that a preliminary investigation revealed 2 people were on the private plane. The bodies pulled from inside. The bodies were pulled from inside the home after the crash caused an explosion and fire. The Benton County medical examiners will look into the exact cause of deaths. Now, this as the National Transportation and Safety Board and FAA are expected in Sauk Rapids today to learn what caused the crash. The victims' identities have yet to be released. Now, the homeowner was not inside the home at the time of the crash, but his roommate was. Fortunately, the roommate was able to jump out of the second-story window, and neighbors say he escaped without even a scratch on his body.
Fox 9's Iris Perez is live there tonight. And Iris, were police able to find anything?
Well, you know what, Kelsey? Police will not say why they executed a search warrant here or why investigators spent the day searching the Paniak family home and yard for evidence connected to Amy Paniak's disappearance. Those who live here and those who grew up in this neighborhood say this is the kind of search that should have happened when Amy went missing.
We're going to be here for several days, and I'm not going to comment on the actual search warrant itself.
Maple Grove Police, Hennepin County Sheriff's Crime Lab, and fire and rescue crews digging for answers they hope will reveal why Amy Sue Paniak went missing in 1989.
Very nice kid, but you could tell that she was kind of on her own, just kind of left to wander. And and do things. And you could tell she was a little mixed up from having such a different role model from the parents.
They're kind of in their own world.
Amy was only 13 when a call from this home was made to police citing she'd been abducted from an Osseo gas station. Today, Amy would be 37. What actually revived the search for Amy at the home she lived in remains concealed.
The actual details of why we're here today, I can't give them to you at this time.
Amy's parents, Susan Paniak and Marshall Mitten, spoke to Fox 9 last year, hopeful one day they'd find Amy. No word on their current whereabouts or if they play any role in today's presence at their home. Meanwhile, investigators searched their home and the Paniak backyard.
My son that's 27, he used to see him digging at night with a bobcat in the backyard, and he always thought, that the parents maybe did something. So I don't know if that's going to prove out to be true or not.
You see, the backyard search is one some neighbors believe should have happened long ago.
Should have happened probably 25 years ago.
Why do you say that?
I've always kind of been suspicious of them.
And they would dig up the yard all the time and replace it with different stones and bricks and stuff like that.
The commonly mentioned memory of the Paniak's yard activity only adds to the neighbors' suspicion about the girl's parents.
I guess they had a garage sale right after she went missing and put her, like the kids' clothes were in the garage sale, and so that's kind of suspicious.
And what they remember about Amy.
And we used to befriend her because we knew it was kind of a different situation in the family.
Right now, what police will confirm is that their main focus here is Amy.
As a father of daughters, we're concerned and we want to make sure we find Amy.
Important to note is that while police won't say whether or not Amy's parents are considered suspects, they do not have anyone in custody at this time. And while the search warrant will remain sealed, police tell me that if they've learned some substantial information here, they'll release that information in the next few days. Live in Maple Grove, I'm Iris Perez, Fox 9 News.
He was the son I never had.
21-year-old Paxton Harvey was the apple of his grandfather's eye.
He was an excellent student. A very good athlete in just about any sport he had tried, but he was also an artist, a very accomplished artist and a musician, played 3 instruments, wrote music.
The Carleton College junior was among the students in the Toyota 4Runner on Highway 3 and County Road 47 Friday. Roads were icy and snowy. The SUV spun out and collided with an oncoming semi-truck.
They were definitely dead at the scene.
Paxton, 20-year-old James Adams of St. Paul, and 20-year-old Michael Goodgame of Westport, Connecticut, all 3 members of Carleton's Ultimate Frisbee team, had their lives taken that afternoon.
They were supposed to get on a plane. There was a Ultimate Frisbee tournament in Stanford University out in California.
The driver, William Sparks, survived and remains in satisfactory condition. The 4th passenger was 19-year-old Connor Eckert of Evanston, Illinois, and remains in serious condition.
I said, it's such a loss, and my wife said no. We had 21 fabulous years with Paxton.
Paxton's keen sense of empathy is what Dave believes drew so many to the handsome young man. Their last meal together was barely 2 weeks ago.
We look back and just like, man, if we hadn't done that. So again, people take time, you don't know with friends, family, kids, grandkids.
And if Dave could go back knowing Paxton would be taken as early as he was, this is what he'd tell his grandbaby.
Oh, love him. Gonna miss him. I lost my grandson. I lost as close to anybody I'll ever have as a son. And I lost a good friend.
Families of all 3 students who died in Friday's crash are still making funeral arrangements for the men. Once we have that information, we'll have it up on our website, myfox9.com. Corey Hudson believes the suspects who stole his expensive new wheelchair wanted to scrap it for metal. But what makes this crime even more heartless is that these thieves ignored his cries and had the audacity to steal it in broad daylight as he watched on.
It was my legs, being taken again the second time.
For 22 years, wheels have been Corey Hudson's legs.
I got shot in Minneapolis, Minnesota in a drive-by.
In September, he got this electric wheelchair, a brand new 2013 C300 model.
And my arm is going out on me, so I'm finna have surgery on my arm.
Right after coming home Tuesday night, he was forced to leave the new chair behind his North Minneapolis home.
It needs to be charged, daily. So it ran out of power in my yard.
Never thinking anyone would be heartless enough to steal it, he had a friend transfer him to his home wheelchair, the one he sits in now.
I use this wheelchair for like rolling around my house and getting in my room and getting in the bathroom. So my electric wheelchair is for going to my doctor's appointments, you know, things what I do in the world.
Hudson says he was coming out of the bathroom when something told him to look out his back door. That's when he noticed the wheelchair that he says was right here behind this car was gone. He says the thieves had simply loaded it in their truck and sped off down this alleyway.
I was saying, stop with my wheelchair, please stop, that's my wheelchair, that's my wheelchair. And they kept going like they didn't care at all.
About 2 hours after he filed the police report during our interview, his phone rings.
Bye. Yeah, they got my wheelchair. They got it. They got them too.
3 suspects are now in custody: Victoria Wells, James Willie Woods, and William Fitzgerald Webb.
They was desperate. Whoever they was desperate. They needed some money real bad. And if it's coming to that, then they need to get some jobs. This gonna make me put a lock around my wheelchair. Leave people's wheelchairs alone. Don't touch people's walkers, they canes, nothing. Leave them alone.
Now, those suspects are expected to face felony theft charges. Right now, Hudson may have to wait a while before getting his wheelchair back, though. Police will need it for evidence as they continue to investigate this case. Hudson tells me he's very happy still that they found the wheelchair, though, and he extends his thanks to Minneapolis police for responding as quickly as they did. Jeff, Heidi, back to you.